This is my first General Conference weekend after leaving the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Mormon Church. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, General Conference is a semi-annual worldwide event where members of the church gather to hear the messages from self-proclaimed prophets and apostles and a handful of women. Their messages are meant to be inspiring, but are often sexist, racist, homophobic, and cause their members to question their worthiness before God. So to commemorate my freedom since leaving the Mormon faith, I am doing something I never would have done as a member of the church. I'm openly criticizing the church's policies and practices. I'm volunteering for Floodlit.org, an organization that is using this weekend as an opportunity to expose the SA predators in and protected by the Mormon Church. Before I read the profiles for these predators, I have a little something I want to share first. I just completed a mini-series on the importance of empathy. I want to begin by saying I do in fact have empathy for these men. Predators, I'm addressing you now. I empathize with you that you just were not given the tools to help you heal from the trauma you endured that may have caused you to act out the way you did. I recognize that you were probably encouraged to see your bishop rather than a licensed therapist to help you heal from these wounds. I understand that it must have been frustrating for you to be raised in a patriarchal church where you didn't, like the young women, have to recite choice and accountability as a core value of your faith. I can only imagine that you were raised to believe that you could get away with anything as long as you saw an unqualified bishop and received a slight slap on the wrist. I also want you to know that empathy cannot supersede boundaries, or, as taught in the Book of Mormon, mercy cannot rob justice. Boundaries dictate what's okay and what's not okay. And everyone who was born with the light of Christ knows that SA is 1000% not okay. When anyone violates boundaries, there are consequences, either natural or otherwise, attached. And since you chose to violate the obvious boundaries that were there to protect the virtue of others, the consequence is that you will have your story shared publicly so that people know that you are not a safe person. The church's consequence for not reporting these offenses is that they are being exposed. They teach that the truth will set you free. And I hope this truth will free victims of the shame and frustration that should not be part of their lives. I hope this truth frees potential victims of any potential attacks. And I hope it frees you from the belief that you can get away with hurting others without consequence. So, without further ado, it is my honor to share with you the profile for one of the many Mormon perpetrators of SA.